The next morning, the story broke. Ngozi's article detailed everything: Akin's manipulation of Zita, his threats, and the lavish lifestyle he had used to trap her. It included screenshots of his messages to Zita and an emotional interview where she described her experiences. The story spread like wildfire, dominating headlines and social media. Public outrage was immediate. Women's rights groups called for Akin to be held accountable, while former associates began distancing themselves from him. At the safe house, Femi read the comments aloud to Adunni and Zita. People are calling for an investigation. Some of Akin's business partners have already issued statements condemning him. Zita listened in silence, her hands clasped tightly together. Does this mean it is over? Femi shook his head. Not yet. This is just the beginning. Aki is powerful, and he won't go down without a fight. That afternoon, there was a knock at the door of the safe house. Femi peered through the peephole and froze. Standing outside was Segun. He's found us, Femi muttered, stepping back. What do we do? Adunni asked, panic rising in her voice. Femi turned to Zita. You have to stay hidden. Don't let him see you. I will handle this. As Segun knocked again, louder this time, Femi opened the door just enough to step outside. What do you want, Segun? Segun smirked. You know why I am here. Akin wants the girl. Hand her over and no one gets hurt. Femi stood his ground. You're not getting her. Tell Akin to back off. Segun's smirk faded, replaced by a menacing glare. You're making a big mistake, Femi. Akin doesn't like being defiled. Femi didn't flinch. Neither do I. Now leave or I'll call the police. Segun stared him down for a moment before stepping back. This isn't over, he said before walking away. Inside, Adunni and Zita waited anxiously as Femi returned. He's gone for now, Femi said, but we need to stay alert. Akin won't stop until he gets what he wants. Zita nodded, determination replacing the fear in her eyes. Let him come. I'm not afraid of him anymore. That night, the tension in the safe house was palpable. Zita sat by the window staring out at the quiet street. The world outside seemed calm, but she knew chaos was brewing. Her phone buzzed, and she glanced at the screen. It was a private number. She hesitated before answering. Hello? Zita, it's me. Akin's smooth voice came through the line. She froze. How did you get this number? She whispered, her hands trembling. Akin chuckled darkly. I have my ways, darling. Do you really think you could run from me? After everything I've done for you? Zita's chest tightened. You didn't do anything for me, Akin. You ruined my life. Ruined? Akin's tone turned cold. You ungrateful child. Do you know how many women would kill to live the life I gave you? You're lucky I haven't pressed charges for defamation. Zita muttered her courage. You can't scare me anymore. The world knows the truth now. Akin laughed low and menacing. The world may know, but you and I both know I'm not finished. If you don't come back, I'll make sure your mother and those little siblings of yours regret crossing me. Before Zita could respond, the line went dead. She stared at the phone, her heart pounding. The next morning, Ngozi visited the safe house with updates. She looked concerned as she entered the living room where Zita, Adunni and Femi were gathered. Have been following the backlash, Ngozi said, setting her laptop on the table. Akin's company's stock has plummeted and is being dropped from several partnerships, but he's not backing down. He's claiming this is all a smear campaign. Adunni frowned. That man is dangerous. He called Zita last night, threatening us. Ngozi's eyes widened. Did you record the call? Zita shook her head. I didn't think to. I was too scared. Ngozi sighed. It's okay. We'll document it anyway. Every piece of evidence counts. The more pressure we put on him, the harder it will be for him to fight back. Femi leaned forward. What's the next step? We need more people to speak out, Ngozi said. If we can find others he hurt or manipulated, it will strengthen the case against him. Meanwhile, in his Ikoyi mansion, Akin was plotting his next move. His world was unraveling and he was determined to regain control. Segun, he said, pouring himself a glass of whiskey, I need you to dig deeper. Find out everything you can about that journalist, Ngozi. If we can discredit her, the story loses its power. Segun nodded. I'll handle it, boss. And the safe house? Akin smirked. Keep watching. When the time is right, we will strike. Back at the safe house, Zita received an unexpected message on her social media. It was from a woman named Funke, who claimed to have a similar story about Akin. I read your interview. The message said, Have been through the same thing with Akin. I want to help. Zita showed the message to Ngozi, who immediately reached out to Funke. Within hours, Funke was on a video call, her face ached with pain as she recounted her own ordeal. He lured me in with promises of a better life, Funke said, her voice trembling. When I tried to leave, he threatened me and my family. I've been too scared to speak out until now. Ngozi smiled encouragingly. Your bravery will make a difference, Funke. Together we can bring him down. As the days passed, more women came forward, each with their own harrowing story about Akin's abuse and manipulation. The media coverage intensified, and public opinion turned sharply against him. But Akin wasn't done. He used his remaining influence to launch a counter-narrative, painting himself as the victim of a conspiracy. His allies in high places began to stir, complicating the fight for justice. One evening, as the family sat together in the safe house, there was another knock at the door. Femi cautiously approached, peeking through the peephole. It's Ngozi, he said, opening the door to let her in. Ngozi's face was serious. I have good news and bad news, she said, setting her bag down. The good news is that we've gathered enough evidence to file a formal legal case against Akin. The bad news is he is retaliating. Adunni's heart sank. What do you mean? Ngozi pulled out a folder. He's filed a defamation lawsuit against Zita and me. He's claiming the stories are fabricated and demanding millions in damages. Zita's face fell. What are we going to do? Ngozi placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We'll fight back. He's trying to intimidate us, but we won't let him win. Akin's world continued to crumble after the lawsuit and the explosive revelations of his abusive behavior. One evening, while speeding through the streets of Ikoyi in a desperate attempt to evade the reality closing in on him, his car skidded out of control and slammed into a pole. The crash left him paralyzed from the waist down, confined to a wheelchair. With his business empire in ruins and his allies abandoning him to save their reputations, Akin found himself utterly alone. His once lavish mansion became a cold and empty reminder of the life he had destroyed through his greed and cruelty. Days turned into weeks, and the silence of his home began to weigh heavily on him. Desperate for solace, Akin decided to reach out to Adunni, the woman he had wronged the most. He managed to get her number through a mutual acquaintance and called her. Adunni, his voice cracked with vulnerability. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm begging you, please, I need you." Adunni's response was swift and firm. "Akin, you made your choices. You destroyed our family, hurt Zita, and brought nothing but pain into our lives. I cannot forgive you, and I will not let you back into our lives. Goodbye." For the first time in his life, Akin felt the weight of true regret. He sat in his wheelchair, staring at his phone, tears streaming down his face. He had driven away everyone who mattered, and now he had to live with the consequences. Meanwhile, Adunni focused on rebuilding her life. She worked tirelessly to provide for her children, taking on multiple jobs and relying on her strong will to persevere. She became a symbol of resilience in her community, inspiring other women to stand tall in the face of adversity. Zita too began to heal from the trauma she had endured. However, tragedy struck again when she suffered a domestic accident in the kitchen and lost her pregnancy. The family was devastated, but Adunni stood by Zita, nursing her back to health and reminding her that she was loved and valued. "You are stronger than you think, my daughter," Adunni said, holding Zita's hand. "No matter what life throws at us, we will rise above it together." The younger children, Bolu and Tayo, became a source of joy and hope for the family. They watched their mother's unwavering strength and learned the importance of kindness, resilience, and hard work. This story serves as a powerful reminder that choices have consequences. Akin's downfall was a direct result of his actions. His greed, manipulation, and disregard for others led to his isolation and suffering. Strength in adversity. Adunni's unwavering determination to protect and provide for her family highlights the power of resilience. Even in the face of unimaginable pain, she refused to give up. The value of family and forgiveness. While forgiveness is a virtue, it is not always owned, especially to those who have caused immense harm. The story emphasizing the importance of protecting one's peace and prioritizing the well-being of loved ones. Empathy and community. Zita's journey reminds us to support those who have been hurt and to create safe spaces where people can heal and grow. Ultimately, this is a story of redemption, not for Akin, but for Adunni and her children who found their strength and reclaimed their lives despite the chaos they endured. So, my dear story lovers, thank you for watching this story to the final stage. Let me know what you think about this story in the comment section. But please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your constant support. See you in our next video. Bye.